All right. Well, hello, everyone. My name is Dee Corchin here with you on Monday, October 4th for Team Time. And just welcome to the call. So great to see so many of you guys with us. And we come together every Monday night for community, for learning, for teamwork, for celebration, and for growing together. So we've got a lot of fun things to cover this evening. One, I just wanted to take a minute. Hopefully you've seen my Facebook Lives in the Coaches Up for Change group, but congratulations, you guys, what we are accomplishing as a team. The energy is just contagious. So hopefully you saw, but we brought on 525 new clients in the month of October. So that is one of our team records, really showing a turnaround. We've seen a turnaround in terms of Optavia with their shipping, more fuelings coming in. We have more clients coming in. And if you missed what I shared, October is historically one of the largest months. October is typically my largest month always in Optavia in 10 years of coaching. So what I want to mean by that is our group volume projection is huge for the organization. So that means we've got lots and lots of clients, existing clients and new clients to service, to reach out to come alongside, just help them keep moving forward on their journey, recognizing it's not always going to be perfect. But more and more people will come on as we head into this last quarter of the year, plenty of time before the holidays, plenty of time before the end of the year. So even though the essential savings is over, it doesn't matter. I was talking to actually Amy today and we were talking and she said, one of her clients said, you know what, I'm not really worried about the savings. Let's talk on Monday. So, I mean, there are people that are ready and when they're ready, the price doesn't matter. So keep sharing boldly and it's going to be fun to see where this goes. We had lots of coaches rank up, lots and lots of new senior coaches, which is a reflection of the coaches we brought in during the movement that we were having in July and August, and had some significant rank ups. But we're going to do our opening inspiration tonight with Lauren Yeomans, who reached the rank of global director. So if you are new to Optavia or don't know what this means, you can't get here alone. You have to build a team, and you're building a team of at least 5 executive directors in your front line, and even better, more in depth. So you get there by digging and working with people and clients and coaches and finding out their dreams and helping them achieve their dreams. So it's been a pleasure to walk alongside Lauren with her mentorship team. So Lauren, we're just going to give you the floor for a while so you can tell us about this journey of yours.
Well, thank you. And I just feel so honored to be amongst all of you tonight. And I know I see a lot of familiar faces and then a lot of faces that I don't know. So I'm going to give you guys a little bit of background to my story. So I started coaching about 3.5 years ago. I was a month into my own journey and I felt amazing and I felt empowered for the first time in a while over my health journey. And I was so excited to share this gift with others. And I had no idea what coaching really meant or what it would look like or anything. But I remember my first goal just being, how would if I help 5 people? I had some people that were on my heart. So I helped 5 people. I went to my first event, actually in my first week of coaching. It was an event Meg did in Roswell at a coffee shop. And I heard some coaches talking about how they were making $2,000 a month as executive directors. And I was like, oh, that would be amazing. Like I had no idea that that was even possible. And I remember putting that down as a stretch goal where in 4 months of coaching, I would love to be making that kind of an income. And I started to dream about what that would mean for my family, trips that I could do or different things that we could do together. And actually that happened for me a little quicker than in the 4 months. And then I started to think, okay, like what if I could replace my income? Wouldn't that be cool? Like, what would that look like? And at the time I was working full time as a pediatric nurse practitioner, really long days, 10-hour days. I was on call in the evenings and weekends. I had a 1-year-old. Life was busy. But I caught this vision and I caught this dream of not having to take my daughter to daycare anymore. and being able to have more time, freedom, and flexibility. And so I just started working. I just started sharing my heart, sharing my passion, not only for being a client on the program, but how much coaching had been changing my life. And so worked a lot, built my business mostly in the nooks and crannies of my life, the times that worked for my family, but I put in hard work and it was a busy year. And within about my first year, I did reach integrated national director, and I did nearly replace my income. And I made a decision to go PRN at my job and be able to mostly be home with my family. And it changed everything. But I thought, oh, this is going to continue, and I'm just going to grow to global within the next 6 months, and it's going to be, this easy route. And it wasn't. I wrote global on my map for 2.5 years, and it was hard. There were months I was just a few orders away from it, and it was hard. There were some months that I was discouraged, and the hardest thing I think for me was having a few different people that I had been pouring into, a few different executive directors that decided for whatever reason that they didn't want to keep growing, or they had things that happened in their worlds and they decided to take a step away. And that was hard. But I think the biggest thing that has helped me is staying consistent despite the hard, staying consistent despite the disappointments, and focusing on the good. So I started to end each month, instead of thinking about what didn't happen, thinking about what am I proud of? Whose lives were impacted this last month? And there was a while, even I didn't have the story that Jordan has, where I was pregnant my second time and my business grew exponentially while I was pregnant. Mine, I had some roller coasters through that time. But I continued to find joy. I continued to find fulfillment. And I think having vision and goal setting really made a difference along the way. And a lot of personal development, which is hard. Like, it's not always easy, but leaning into taking care of myself, leaning into reading a lot, and I did Habit Finders a couple years ago, which is great, especially for executive directors and above, to get some personal development in a group setting. And then in May, I decided to do one-on-one coaching with Paul Blanchard. Many of you know him. And there's been a lot that I've learned during that time with him, especially. One thing is that no one is my responsibility. My coaches and my clients are not my responsibility. My goal is to empower them, and their successes, their failures are not on me. And I think that brought a lot of freedom when I kind of let that go. And then staying present. I think for a lot of time in my business, I lived in that what if, like, well, what if this happens? What if I leave my job and my whole business plummets? What if, all of these fears, and instead just staying present in today. What can I do today? Who can I love on today? And to be honest, the last couple years have been the hardest season in my life. We've gone through some really hard things in my family, some personal things, and it's been really hard. I lost a coach who'd become a best friend to me over the summer. She died in a car accident, and that was really hard. And I think what I've learned is that to not feel guilty for dreaming and going after what I want, even in the hard seasons. And sorry, you guys. And to put purpose into my pain, use my pain for purpose and for good. And that grief and joy can coexist. So to look for the joy, even in those seasons of grief, even in the hard, and to showing up every day, even when I didn't want to, even when all I wanted to do, to be honest, was curl in my bed and hide under my blankets. But showing up, it always makes you feel better, right? When you show up, even when you don't want to. And looking at coaching as a source of joy and fulfillment in my life. And leaning into the growth along the way. What am I learning from this? And I just want to encourage you that no matter what you are going through, because I think we all have our hard, we all have the things that can sometimes hold us back, but learning to remember to allow the obstacle to become the way. and to have fun. Make this fun. Make it fun to support your clients, to support your coaches, to link arms with people, and to stop comparing to other people. It is okay if someone gets to somewhere that you wanted to go faster than you did, or if, whatever the situation is, but just staying focused on what can you do? Who can you help? And sharing this gift boldly. You guys, you have such a gift in your hands, such a gift. And remember that and share that boldly, because you never know whose life is going to change by you stepping into that boldness. And taking care of yourself along the way. Can't pour from an empty cup. So take care of yourself along the way, and using your pain for good. Let your pain move you into your purpose. And I want to tell you, if I can do this in the season of life that I'm in with 2 little babies and going through a really hard time, I want you to know you can too. And I'm here rooting for you, and I know we all are. So that's what I wanted to share.
Thank you, Lauren. Hopefully you see the chat blowing up. So many nuggets of wisdom in there. And, as a seasoned mentor, what I will tell you is that, we do all go through hard times. We all do have ups and downs emotionally in this business. It's just an emotional business. And what I see, and it happens to me sometimes too, is sometimes when the rest of life is busy, and sometimes it's the rest of life that is the ugly part, right? The part you don't want to really be a part of. We'll put Optavia aside, which is our which can bring the joy and bring all the things, and we'll put it aside, and then we get stuck in the bad. And what's so great, Lauren, is how you really found it was such a fundamental mindset shift of that grief and what all that you were going through and joy can coexist at the same time. So such an important message. And just walking alongside you, I will tell you, Lauren is so good at always finding gratitude, starting and ending days with gratitude and vision. She's a dreamer, and she's got those, she's got vision boards and all the things all surrounding her all the time. So having that clarity of where you're going is so important. So congratulations. It's just such an honor to have you speaking on our call. And I know it meant a lot to all of us. So thank you for that. And we're going to do some great training tonight. Like Lauren said, we have an incredible gift to offer individuals. We have this incredible health program that we offer. We acquire clients, we support clients, and we also have this incredible gift of coaching, and they are not separate. They do coexist as well. And so what we thought we'd do is kind of break down to some fundamentals again and go a little deeper, starting first with the health assessment, because the health assessment is such a valuable tool for multiple reasons. So tonight, Shauna and I are going to train, but I thought we'd try something new. Since we tried breakout rooms, we thought they were so great. I'm going to pop up a poll, and just so Shauna and I can get an idea of how you guys feel about doing health assessments, I'm going to, hopefully that popped up there. I'm going to ask you to take a minute and answer the poll. And if you're conflicted with one, just go with whatever, you feel like most of the time, how you feel. Give it about 10 more seconds. Actually, about 15 seconds. So about 85% have answered. So go ahead and answer if you haven't answered yet. All right, very good. Let's take a seat. Let's see what happened here. It is just one question. So were you able to see that? So it looks like about 17% of us, we're still a little shaky on them. We still get pretty nervous. 42% of us fairly confident, but we feel like it's sometimes hard to connect or go deeper with individuals. And good, about 41% of us feel good about it, but we're always looking for ways to improve. And that's who we are as Optavia coaches, right? Always looking to improve. So the first thing I would like to ask, and you can pop your answer in the chat, or if somebody wants to pop off on the mic, I could take like 3 people to answer. But what do you think the primary purpose or purposes of the health assessment are? You know, pop it in the chat, or if somebody wants to pop off their mic for one thing. Build your why. To connect. The why and the motivation. Awaken, very good. Find their pain. Good. Lori, did you want to add something? Lori Schiffman?
Yeah, so I think it's definitely connecting and getting to know somebody, but I also listen to what they're telling me and I identify those habits of health, you know, whether it's healthy sleep or what, those other things. And that's what I create my talking points from.
Yep. Very good. Very good. It is really a space. We're creating a safe space for someone in today's world where people have very little connection and very little opportunity, where somebody gives them the gift of their attention. That is actually the best gift that we can give somebody, and then to help them feel understood. So there is a lot we're doing. We're not running through a quick checklist of things. There is so much value. So I'm going to turn this over to Shauna. She's going to speak for a minute. Now, tonight, this is a 2-part series. So tonight, we're going to go over the first part of the health assessment, where we're primarily asking questions of the candidate. And then next week, we'll talk about delivering the program, extending the offer for them to join us, etc. So Shauna Davis, Global Director, you want to go ahead and take over?
Sure. Thanks so much, Dee. I am so excited to talk about this, and let me tell you why. It's the one thing that scared me the most when I was a new coach. Terrified me. I look back on some of my early health assessments. They're totally blank, except for name, phone number, email address, and how much weight they wanted to lose. Literally, it's crazy. I've had a few people reach out to me that I talked to early on, and I have no information on them at all. It's like I have to do it all over again. But this one little box right here, that number 2 box, where it says, what is your main motivation for wanting to lose weight? I think it scares all of us initially because it's such a personal thing. So out of all of the things that we get information on, some of the most important ones, obviously, are, you know, what they want, what their goals are, and health issues, allergies, and meds. Outside of that, the very most important thing you're going to find out is, why are they on the phone with you tonight? What is it they want out of this? When I do a health assessment, I go through and I get the things that I feel like I need to know that are really important to me. I don't always ask everything on the health assessment. And after I feel like I've built some rapport, I know what their weight loss goal is. I know what their habits are. I've got a really good idea of what they want. I circle back around. And I say, okay, I want us to talk about something for just a minute. I want us to look ahead. You're down to this amazing goal of 120 pounds. And I might say, you know, you told me you haven't been there since you were a teenager or in college. You're really excited. And I want to ask you a couple of questions. Is that okay? And now I'm going to try to get to that why. Some of the first things I usually ask are, you're at 120 pounds. Tell me what that looks like for you now. And I stop. Now they may go in and they may spill their guts out to me with that one question. Or they may just say, oh, I'm going to wear some cute clothes. I'm going to be able to shop off the rack. I've always wanted to Amazon shop or something. I say, okay, that's a great goal. I want to ask you another question. Tell me, at 120 pounds, how are you going to start showing up for other people and for yourself now? What does that look like for you? How do you show up as a mom or a wife? You know, I know if they're a mom at this point. And then I stop and I let them think about that one for a second. If they've got this tough exterior, sometimes with each question, they'll start to kind of break down a little bit or open up a little bit more. But that's a really good question to ask. How are you going to show up for people? This next one, I've gotten a lot of emotion on this one. I say, okay, great. That's great. I'm going to ask you another question. Tell me, when you look in the mirror every morning now at 120 pounds, what are you going to see compared to what you see now? That's a really hard one, because I think a lot of us as women have struggled with that one. And that will usually start to pull them in and open up some. What are you going to see when you look in the mirror? I've even had men tell me, I hate myself right now. I hate who I see every morning when I pull out that razor and I shave my face. And that takes a lot for a man to admit that. One of my other questions that I ask is, you're at 120 pounds, we're so excited. Tell me what life looks like for you now. What are you doing at 120 pounds that you're not doing now? I get all kinds of answers. A lot of them revolve around, physical things they're going to do. They're going to go hiking, or, sometimes I'll hear a mom say, I'm going to be able to come home from work and get on the floor and play with my kids. They always want me to get on the floor, and I can't get down on the floor. I'm in too much pain, or I get down there and I can't get up. So you're going to hear all kinds of things, but sit in what you hear, and you can always dig a little deeper. I'm going to be able to sit on the floor and play with my kids. Oh, I love that. Tell me what you're going to do on the floor with your kids. What are your kids going to think about that? I bet they're going to be excited. And you just kind of keep going with each question that you ask them. These are really important for you to ask questions like this and then just sit silent and let them answer. And sometimes that's really hard, because sometimes they're not going to answer right away. And if you've got a really tough person with this hard shell, you're going to know that pretty quick. Sometimes I might give them an example. I might say, well, this was my thing. Do you have anything around that? And sometimes you're just not going to get anything from them. And I want to let you know that's okay, because when they come on board as a client, you're going to have weeks and months that you're going to be working with them. And I'm going to tell you a story in just a minute around that. And you're going to be able to hopefully get to a why then. I want to share with you 3 clients that really have impacted me over my 4 years of coaching. One of them was a gentleman that I signed up early on in my coaching, maybe about a year in. And I had just barely started getting comfortable with kind of trying to find out why they wanted to do the program. And he was in excess of 300 plus pounds. And he told me the standard things, like I want to sit in one seat instead of 2 on the airplane. I don't want a seatbelt extender. If my wife and I go to the theme park, I want to be able to get on a ride with her, just normal stuff. Okay. And I just felt like there might be something more. So I pressed him a little harder. And I said, those are great goals. I said, is there anything else? Is there anything that just really kind of punches you in the gut when you think about it? And he got really quiet. And he said, my elderly mother has a house full of antique furniture. And I just want to go to her house and sit on any chair without being afraid I'll break it. And I was crushed. He said, there's one chair I can sit on when I go to my mom's house. And he said, if we're in another room, I have to stand. And there was so much emotion in his voice when he told me that I didn't know how to handle it. Because remember, I'm just now getting used to digging for the why. And I didn't know what to do with that. It was so raw and it was so emotional. And it made me so nervous that I blew right past it. And I said, that's a great goal. Let's get you signed up. Because he was ready. And I never touched on it again. And I missed such an opportunity. I never brought it back up again, during the weeks that he was on the program. And I just missed such an opportunity to really develop more of a why with him. The second person that really taught me a lesson was somebody that I knew, but didn't know her really well. And when I did a health assessment with her, she was just completely closed off. Tough exterior, wasn't going to tell me anything. So several months in, when she wasn't as successful as she wanted to be, I said to her one day, I just got real firm with her. And I said, listen, we got to get to a why for you. Because if you don't have something that you really want to work for, you're never going to do this program. It's never going to work. I said, tell me one thing, just one thing that you really want. And she said, I want to be in pictures with my family. I said, great. why do you want to be in pictures with your family? Because I'm not in any pictures with my family. I said, great. I said, why aren't you in any pictures with your family? And why is that important to you? She said, because I have grandkids now and I want to be in pictures with my grandkids. I said, okay, that's a great goal. Why is that so important for you to be in pictures with your grandkids? Silence. And I heard her start to cry. I have never known this woman to show emotion. And she said, because I don't have a single picture of my grandma who I loved dearly. And I want my grandkids to have pictures of me. And she was sobbing at that point. So we finally had something to work with. We had something, a goal that I could help her set before her. The last one was somebody I just recently signed up. Very status filled, very professional. She wasn't going to give me a lot of information, very proud person. So we went through the whole health assessment and I did my usual. Let's circle back around. You're at this fabulous weight now that you haven't been at since you were in college. She's my age. I am so excited for you. I want you to look ahead a little bit. And I kind of had a gut feeling about her at this point. And you're going to develop this as you go along. I didn't go to those other questions that I read off. I went to the mirror one first. And I said, I want to know when you get up in the morning and look in the mirror, what are you going to see now? And she just broke down. And all the feelings came out, the insecurities, the self-worthlessness, the not wanting to go out with her friends, the missing her high school reunion last month. I mean, all the things that she just sobbed about, that she has been living this life of just, kind of being shut in. And I was so glad I went to that question first, because I don't know if I would have got her in with the other ones. But you're going to learn when you're doing health assessment after health assessment after health assessment to listen for tiny little things and trust your gut. When you hear them, write them down. And when you circle back around to that, trust your gut. Don't let that emotion scare you, because what I wanted to do inside was reach through the phone and put my arms around her and say, oh my gosh, I know just how you feel. I felt the same way, but that's not what she needed. She needed me to just sit with her and embrace the moment and let her talk. And that is something that we need to all learn, is the art of holding space. There's an amazing book right here. It's called The Art of Holding Space. And it really digs deep into just sitting and holding that place for someone while they share things with you. And I want to read to you out of this book what the art of holding space is. Holding space is what we do when we walk alongside a person on a journey through liminal space. We do this without making them feel inadequate or trying to fix them. We do it without trying to impact the outcome. We open our hearts, we offer unconditional support, and we let go of judgment, keyword here, and control. Because we can control that situation very easily by dumping advice on them. It takes courage to show up in a way that allows us to hold space for another person. It takes courage to hold them in their messy, liminal space. It takes courage to simply be with the mess when much of the world is wired for productivity and shininess. So don't ever let that space that you're in with that client or even a coach scare you. It's so important that you just sit with them and encourage them. So that's what I got. Thanks for letting me share.
Thank you, Shauna. The chat is blowing up. Such pure gold in there. And y'all, don't miss what we are doing. We are connecting with humans and changing lives. And that's why this is so important. I think we can go into it like, I hope they say yes. I hope I get another client. Oh, yes, I can help you lose 20 pounds. But it's so much bigger. So much bigger. And I feel like we could talk about this for 6 weeks. For so many reasons, it's so important to get to that the deeper things. I mean, Shauna asked, what will you be doing differently? How will you be feeling different? How will you show up different? What do you see different in the mirror? You know, what's different in your world? That is going to be so powerful when they hit the hard spots, because they will hit the hard spots. They've got to know why they're doing it. Or when you circle back for the follow-up, you can have a meaningful conversation. If they don't say yes the first time, which many don't, then you have something meaningful to go back and talk about, right? Not, did you lose your 20 pounds yet? It's like, hey, I'm curious. Have you been able to get down on the floor with your grandkids? You know, have you started showing up in the pictures yet? You'll be able to remind them of what was so important. So thank you, Shauna. We're going to go part 2 of this next week, more about what your role is, but your primary role is that gift of attention and digging deeper and that space. Tonight, you guys, right after this, so many of our clients and us, we have fears around what does life look after weight loss. So that is the topic of the client call and the coach call. So encourage you to hop right on those. The numbers are, Zoom links are in, Coaches Up for Change. Just a couple quick things. If you live in the Atlanta area, you are invited to Larry and I's house on Friday night. We're having a lean and green night and fireside chat. So there is an event in Coaches Up for Change. You'll also get an email from me on that. And also, this is the last month to qualify for the big conference. This is the Business Integration and Coach Growth Conference led by Dr. A and Dan Bell. So the last month to qualify for that. So talk to your business mentor about how to attend. So thank you again, Lauren, for sharing your story and your journey. Fun to celebrate you. And thank you, Shauna, for such a stellar presentation tonight. Appreciate every single one of you guys being on here. What we're doing together as a team is amazing. And we'll see you in the Facebook group, and then we'll see you on this call again next week. Bye, you guys.